What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to break down some big news that came out for Tesla and why Tesla kind of dipped the way it did for today. But let me first say that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you guarantee 75 of them, and the offer ends very soon in just a couple of weeks. Anyways, for Tesla, I was talking about possible head and shoulders that could be developing on the charts in the pre-market, and this ended up playing out very, very nicely. I wasn't 100% sure if this would play out. I told you we might see a little pop first and to watch how we end up reacting, and this ended up playing out. So it did end up happening. Tesla got this rejection. We attempted to break above our EMAs, but then we failed to break past 175 and came back down. So this head and shoulders has played out, and Tesla is showing some weakness. However, despite that happening, Tesla is not like officially collapsing extremely hard or anything like that. It's only down about 1.2%, but the weakness that's perpetuating is still playing out. And for now, I want to be talking about some very, very key levels. So, first, I want to talk about some data and break down some news that came out that caused Tesla to dip a bit. Then I'm going to break down the charts in just a few minutes. So, please be on the lookout at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We have the 4-week and 8-week bill auctions coming out. This could cause some volatility. Then we have Collins from the Fed giving a speech at noon. We also have the mortgage rates coming out, which won't really affect the market that much. Usually, it's not that crazy. Same thing with the WASDE report. It's not really going to cause much volatility, in my opinion. It doesn't really usually affect the markets much. But I would say at 11:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, look and see what happens to the market as we have some stuff coming out with the bill auctions and Collins from the Fed giving a speech. Then later on at 1 p.m., we have more volatility likely coming as we have the bond auction, not to mention Bostic giving a speech. So we'd be on the lookout for all of this data. We'll see how this ends up affecting things in the markets. And now let's also talk about Tesla's news. So one good piece of news is the fact that the Cybertruck is to get a 20% charge speed increase. And this is because of the fact that it's going to be incorporating an over-the-air software update that is being used to help improve the efficiency of how it uses its technology. And that is going to be very, very useful for it and lots of people out there. So this is going to help them charge things a lot quicker. Many people were saying that the charge curve is very disappointing for the Cybertruck, so they're trying to improve that, and that's going to be very, very useful. They could unlock up to 154 miles in just 15 minutes, thanks to this update, according to reports, and that is pretty good for them as well. So that's something that's making headlines right now. Very, very good for the Cybertruck. But the reason why Tesla dipped is actually because we had more bad news that kind of trumped this. The bad news, firstly, was what I said yesterday. Piper Sandler cuts their price target on Tesla, and they said a lot about Tesla's deliveries not being the best. We had Jeffrey saying the same things. I went over this many times in my video earlier and also my videos from yesterday. But also for today, we had Bank of America slashing their Tesla stock price target, saying weak demand will hurt unless the company cuts prices more. This is some big news right over here. This is some very, very big. This is a very big change that has come out, and this is something that's not really surprising after the deliveries miss. So they weakened. They're saying that Tesla's weakening demand is going to hurt it as their inventory builds up, and they're saying that they have to cut prices more for them to maintain their demand. They also have a new price target of about $220, representing a 21% decline from the prior target of $280. That still gives us 28% upside in their opinion, but they're just not as bullish as before. They also mentioned that supply disruptions, which ended up taking place in the Berlin Gigafactory, are affecting them. It's not solely just that, but not to mention other things like demand issues. And then on top of that, with inventory building up, they're saying that Tesla may have to resort to cutting prices. Besides that, that's what they essentially said. I didn't see any new changes when it comes to their deliveries targets, but they are anticipating things are not going to be as great as initially expected. So they are looking at some roughness ahead, and that's part of why Tesla ended up dipping, not to mention the things said by Piper Sandler and Jeffries. There's also going to be another change right here. We had another FSD update that came out, and some very, very interesting things have come out, which is a little bit better. New hardware updates, not to mention a revised looking user interface look. And on top of this, there's going to be new improvements to their navigation routes and things like that. So I saw some improvements, which were not too bad. So that's something worth noting. But let me just say that the majority of the more significant pieces of news were a bit more bearish for Tesla, with lots of downgrades from these analysts. This is part of why it's underperforming, not to mention the overall market affecting it as well. So we had lots of different factors left and right. So for Tesla, what is going on with it? We have resistance at 170.5 and also 171.44 and 172. We have support currently. It's trying to hold 169.5, very, very minor support. We have strong support 168 to 167.8. This range down here is going to be our support. If we lose 167.8, a bigger dip could be coming. But as of right now, Tesla is holding this support. So, in my opinion, you might see Tesla shuffle a lot, at least very, very close to this range, very close to 170, maybe a little bit under. It might just continue to shuffle for some extended periods of time, and then we'll see what happens after that. But that's what I'm seeing as the main thing for Tesla for the time being. As far as SPY goes, SPY is showing a little bit of weakness. It was attempting to break out, trying to bounce, but it failed to break the 50 EMA. And we came back down. Now we're just kind of stuck in this range. So SPY has this range with 515 as resistance and then 512 as support. 512.5 is another support. And we've been stuck so far, so it might remain in this range unless we break in either direction. If we break past 516, we're bullish. If we lose 512, we're bearish. Otherwise, as long as we're in between, we're just going to remain range bound, not really doing a whole lot. Same thing on the QQQ. We've been kind of range bound, but it's showing a little bit more strength than SPY. We have 440's resistance, not to mention 441.18, 442, and 444. We have support currently at 438.9, and if we lose that, watch 438 and 436. I could see this attempt to push a little bit higher, but watch resistance just to be safe. That is going to be pivotal. For Apple, it's showing a little bit of life, slowly pushing. Going to be looking to see how it reacts to 169.25. It's kind of stuck right here. If it breaks through this, we could get closer to 170 to 170.1. We have support currently at 169. If we lose this, watch 168.75, and we'll see how things go. But as of right now, I see potential for this to push a little bit higher, so watch for that very, very carefully. Let me just go over a couple more real quick. Supermicro is showing some life, trying to break out. We did say this earlier in the morning that this thing might push higher. Going to be looking for a test of basically we have this resistance right here around right here at 945. If we break past this, we could get very close to 960. So it's showing some life. Amazon showing not too much life. It is showing a little bit of life, but not too much. We're just stuck in this range. We have 187 as resistance. We have support at 185. We're kind of stuck for now. Could try to push closer to 187, maybe a little bit higher, but it's going to likely remain range bound for the time being, but showing some life. Meta is trying to rebound a bit, trying to push higher. We're going to be looking at this resistance as long as it holds above 520. We have resistance at 522.8. We have support currently at 519 and 518.39. And if we lose this, we could be tipping a bit more. So I'm seeing some potential for this to push a little bit higher. So we'll have to see how this goes. For Microsoft, we have resistance basically at 424.69 and then 425. And then we have support currently around 424 flat and then 422.89. So I do see a little potential for this to go a little higher, but overall we're still kind of stuck in a range. As you guys can see, back and forth price action has perpetuated for many, many days. So it's still stuck like that. And then for the VIX, it's not really doing a whole lot right now. It's still on a very, very nice uptrend overall. So this shows the market is still on a bigger downtrend. We've been stuck in a range for the last few days, and that's what the VIX is also sort of doing, besides this one little wick thanks to CPI. So that's all we're doing for now, but the VIX is still bullish overall on the trend, which suggests that the market is still on a bigger downtrend, at least for now. But for like the more medium term, by the way, SPY and the QQ are still range bound. So we're still going to decide if we get a temporary bounce or not. We're still kind of stuck in the range. So I'll give this a little bit more time. And as far as Tesla goes, like I said before, we're trying to push a little bit. Excuse me, guys. We're trying to push a little bit, but we're still stuck within this 170 zone. So we might shuffle a little bit besides trying to push higher. So that being said, thank you all so much for listening. Tesla could try to push a little bit more from here, but it's still kind of stuck, might just shuffle a lot. So not the best of price action for the time being. And then watch and see what kind of reaction we get once we get more of this data. Wait and see, and we'll see how things go from here. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, and peace out.